Good afternoon and welcome to Watching the W. I am your host, Doug, here on this sort of Independence Day. We are going to get you guys a show today. Been off all week, had some other yard worky chores to do. So today was finally a day that I could actually sit down and record something. So here we are. We're going to run through kind of some of the recent highlights of things here in the WNBA, running through a few things, and then we'll get you guys back on with your day. So, for starters, I wanted to start by talking about the Commissioner Cup game from the other night, um, where we saw the Fever defeat the Lynx in a game that, honestly, I was a little surprised by, to be quite honest with you guys. I was actually expecting A, the Lynx to win that, and B, for that game to be much more competitive than what it actually was. Um, but it ended up being, as I attempt to find it, there we go, a 74-59 Indiana win with that, and without Caitlin Clark in that game. The Lynx just couldn't buy a bucket all night long. Overall, nobody shot well on that team. It looks like the person who had the best shooting night was probably Jessica Shepard. She was 4 for 4 in limited minutes. Everybody else was just no bueno. Bridget Cartland was only 0 of 2. Fee was 6 of 18. Land was 5 of 11. McBuckets was 1 of 7. Court was 4 of 14. Tish was only 1 of 3. So just a really, just not a really poor showing from Minnesota. So it was kind of surprising to see. The Fever's defense looked very, very good. I think we were all a little bit surprised about how well they played. Fever are a good team, even without Caitlin. I think that's been established now. They've got a lot of good pieces around her. That's what makes that team so dangerous, is the fact that they can go out and beat a team like Minnesota on a given night, and do that without their superstar. So that makes them a very dangerous team kind of going forward. I'm expecting them to be kind of right in the thick of it. I said that at the start of the season as well, that I expected them to be in the mix, maybe those final four. I think they're definitely a playoff team. And as I check the standings right now, they are currently sitting at 7th at 9-8. But you also got to imagine that Caitlin Clark's missed like 8 of those games as well. She's only 5, and I think I saw on the graphic yesterday. They are 5 and 4 when she plays, and then 4 and 4 without her. So interesting breakdown there with that. But again, they've got a very good team. Aaliyah Boston's coming into her own. Kelsey Mitchell's, great. Lexi Hull's taken a step forward this year. So that has become a very, very solid team over there in Indiana. So hats off to the Fever, winning the Commissioner's Cup and looking very, very good doing it. While we were talking about that box score, we might as well take a quick look at about who actually did play well for the Fever. It was actually Yes, it was Natasha Howard that ended up being the game MVP. 4 of 10 from the floor, plus minus a 17, 12 rebounds, 16 points. And just was kind of playing out of her mind there for a while. So playing very, very well. So she did get Commissioner Cup MVP, Finals MVP there. They did re-sign back Ari McDonald, who's been kind of holding the fort down in Caitlin's absence, looking really good there. She seems to fit in quite well with that team there. Who didn't fit in well with that team was DeWanna Bonner. They have since waived her. They were talking about trading her. She still is not signed as of today. Supposedly, her preferences are to go to Phoenix to be with AT, or supposedly, I think they said Dallas. I think it was Dallas, because I guess her kids are living down in the Dallas area. So that's kind of the two places that they said that she had interest in. We'll see where she actually signs. I do expect that she'll sign pretty soon. I think there is a date where after the date when they sign, she becomes fully guaranteed. My guess is that'll be the date that she actually signs if she doesn't sign sooner, barring any major injuries around the league where somebody needs to pick up a strong veteran presence. On the West Coast side of things, we move our way out west. The interesting situation happened with Julie Van Loo. So, as is with the case around with a lot of the teams, actually, I think most every team has been affected either by the EuroLeague or by FIBA this season. They've had players leaving to go play for their national teams in some type of tournament during the WNBA season. Julie Van Loo went to play for Belgium. Belgium ended up winning the title. She flies back to come back with Golden State, and then they immediately release her less than 24 hours after she wins this title. So she had kind of a really high and a really low moment there. I've seen it kind of, so here's what I've seen. Obviously, it's kind of crappy the way that they did that they basically kind of cut her right away. And it was really kind of out of the blue that she got cut there. And nobody really kind of saw that coming. We knew when she was coming back, they'd have to open up roster spots. A lot of people were thinking that would be Caitlin Chen, or there's some other folks on that roster that they thought would be cut way before Van Loo, but Van Loo was the one who got chopped there. There was talk that it was upsetting because she could have stayed in Belgium and celebrated with the team, but she was trying to hurry back so that she could be back with and play for Golden State as quickly as she could. I did read something somewhere, and I can't remember where I sourced it at, but I did read something somewhere that said the Valkyries cutting her the way they did actually ended up doing her a favor, because if she would have stayed in Belgium and they cut her while she was still out of the country, she would have been unemployed and wouldn't have the work visa to come back to the United States. So by technically kind of screwing her over, they kind of did her a favor in that they let her come back to the United States. Her visa was still good. Then they cut her. Then she could go get other employment, which ended up being the LA Sparks. I don't think she played last night. I know she was warming up. I know they assigned her a uniform number. Let me see real quick. Let me Google that for you. If she played. They played the Liberty yesterday. And scrolling. Julie Van Loo played 2 minutes, 21 seconds and committed 2 turnovers and had a -3 rating. But again, walking off play, basically met her new team in New York. I'm kind of curious as to how that travel situation went. She went from Belgium, essentially probably out to Golden State, because I assume she would have someplace to live out in San Francisco where she would at least need to pack up crap, and then to fly back to New York to meet her team to sign her contract and meet the team and basically then play. That's going to be a big deal. That's a lot of travel, and then they're going to fly back. I assume. I don't know what their next game is, but that would be their next game is going to be tomorrow at Indy. So she's going to be flying back. She'll go back with the team, kind of working her way back there, and then she'll have off until Thursday to play when they play the Lynx. So that's the way that kind of looks. It was kind of a crappy situation, but like I said, there's a little bit of a silver lining in the fact that she did get to extend her work visa with that. So that did kind of work out a little bit in her favor. Big trade here the last couple of weeks. The Wings traded Nalissa Smith to the Aces for the Aces' first round pick in 2026. So 2027. So it's a year out. So it won't be this next draft. It'll be the one after that. Breaking up the NaLyssa and DeJournette reunion down in Dallas, unfortunately. But Liz has already made it to Vegas. She played yesterday for them, a couple of minutes. She got some minutes there. We'll talk more about the Aces later on. But that was the big trade there, again, out of the blue. But she did manage to go from there to Las Vegas. I don't think the last time that we recorded that the Lee Giroux trade had went down, but Lee went from Seattle to Dallas, which basically made NaLyssa expendable, and that move then prompted her to go to Vegas, where they have been looking for some more front court help. As part of that, they did release Liz Kitley and one other person whose name I do not remember. I think they only were scoring like 1.3 points a game. Kitley's the big name. She was their first round pick in 2023. Yes, 2023. Was hurt all 2023, last season as well. Missed all of last season. Maybe she was picked in 2024. I can't remember if she was the Caitlin draft or the Aaliyah draft. But basically missed the entire last season, came back, played a handful of games. Looked all right, I thought. But again, you know how Becky Hammon is. She doesn't play a ton of rookies, doesn't go deep into her bench. So it was just kind of blowout minutes there. So it was kind of hard to kind of gauge what she had going on. Hopefully, for that young lady, hopefully she'll catch on somewhere to continue her career going forward. All right, next thing that we're going to talk about is the All-Star Game, and there was some controversy around that because there's a controversy around everything, it seems like, with that. So All-Star Game captains were announced. No surprise, Caitlin Clark ran away with that. There she ended up being captain number 1, and then captain number 2 ended up being Napheesa Collier from Minnesota. They are the two captains. They're going to do a schoolyard pick'em situation with those. So that will be the way that it is. Basically, the rest of the starters were, and I'm just going to read them off real quick here, are going to be in the guards. It's going to be Paige Bueckers, Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu, Alicia Gray are basically your 4 backcourt starters, your 4 guard starters. And then in the front court, it's going to be Fee, A'ja Wilson, Stewie, Aaliyah Boston, Nneka Ogwumike, Satou Sabally are going to be your front court starters. So then, like I said, Caitlin and Fee will basically go back and forth there. I'm curious to see if Caitlin gets the first. I'm curious to see Caitlin's kind of first pick with this. Is she going to take her best buddy, Aaliyah Boston, who's playing really well? If she gets the first pick, is she going to grab A'ja? Which would be what most people would do. I would think. So I'm just curious to see as to who she's going to pick with her first pick and kind of how she assembles that team and who she's kind of familiar with there. The controversy that came around with it here, I'm going to share my screen with this tab so you can kind of see what I'm looking at here, because it was a little bit not misleading, but it was interesting. I thought it was interesting, and then people made a big deal about it, and I was like, I'm not going to cover this, but yes, I actually am. So let's take a look at share window. Share this window, and then we're going to share this screen here. All right. So again, this is Reddit. I know Reddit is Reddit, but still, this is the only place I found where I could find the breakdown where it wasn't on social media anymore. So the way basically that these things were broken down was fan rank got 50% of the votes, media got 50%, media got 25%, and then players got 25%. And that's basically kind of how it all came out here. That's how the weighting for the All-Star Game happened. What was interesting was Caitlin was number 1 in fan rank, 3 in media rank, but she ended up being the 9th ranked guard based upon other players in there. So everybody found that pretty interesting. Paige was second by fans, fifth by media, fourth by players. Sabrina, fifth by fans, second by media, second by players. Alicia Gray, I thought, was really interesting. She was seventh by the fans, but first by the media and first by the players there. And that really goes to show the type of year that Lish has had, and that how much respect she carries in the league. Playing down there in Atlanta with a future Hall of Famer in Brittany Griner, and then Ryan being Ryan. So really to see Lish kind of stick out there really is just a nice compliment to her. Really happy to see that for one of my favorite players in the league. But there was a lot of controversy about Caitlin ended up being the 9th ranked guard here. People are saying, well, who voted for that? Maybe the others don't think that she's really good. And then there was pieces of people are being petty. I think I saw one as I was looking for this, that Dick Vitale was like, people are being petty about this. I'm like, first off, Dick Vitale is got nothing to do with women's basketball. And secondly, the players rank who they rank. We've all seen the NFL 100s shows. They're going to rank them the way that they rank them. I don't put a lot of stock into that. We'll see. Plus, she has missed half her team's games this season. So maybe there was some of that too. It's like, hey, she's missed a bunch of games. Let's pump up somebody else in there. So to me, like I said, a lot of controversy around that. Somebody also said that the weighting wasn't right. Somebody went through and kind of redid the math as well. I don't know. But that's basically kind of the controversy around there. I would have liked to see, I would hope as we go through these, I would love to see Slim, Brittany Sykes, get an all-star nod as a reserve. I think that she's had a really good year, and I think she deserves it. With those, I would love to see Kiki Iriafen and Gabby Williams, both of those get nods as well. I think both of those women deserve an all-star game spot. So that's what's going on there with those. Let's stop screen sharing. Hopefully that didn't look too crappy on the YouTubes. If you're listening to audio only, hopefully you won't know what that looked like. All right, last subject I wanted to take a look at was the Fever. There have been a lot of conversations about them, what is going on. They've really just they've just struggled. They haven't looked like themselves. They haven't looked like the team that won back-to-back championships, and then they added Jewell Loyd, and there seems to be a lot of just more than discussion. It is what the hell is going on. They've got a lot of problems. They're getting beat by teams they probably should be beating. They just don't look good. Like yesterday was kind of their low point. They only scored 54 points. I can't remember what game I was watching, but they were doing the scoreboard, and the color analyst was like, 54 points used to be a first half score for them, and now that's their score that they got after getting the break speed off of them. So they've got problems. Asia went crazy yesterday, but nobody else seems to really score or play really well. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a chemistry thing, because part of it too is they've added, like we said, they added Jewell Loyd, and Jewell is averaging less than 11 points a game. She doesn't look to take her shot. She's not being very aggressive at all. So I don't know what's going on there, but she just hasn't looked like herself. Neither has Chelsea Gray. Chelsea hasn't looked like herself all season. She looked great and Unrivaled, and then just like she hasn't looked like amazing like we expect her to look this season. And I don't know what the problem is with it. I don't know if it's just exhaustion on her part, simply because she played all of last season. She played in the Olympics. She played in Unrivaled. Now she's here in another season. I wonder if at some point it's just her legs are dead. I know there's been a lot of talk in the last couple of weeks about the scheduling, the back-to-backs, and they expanded to 44 games. And they didn't add any roster spots. And what can they, so I wonder if a lot of that for Chelsea is whether it's just dead legs and just her body's just tired, and maybe after the All-Star break, maybe when they get a little recovery, we'll see maybe see a different side of some of the players. I don't know. Jewel was in the same way. She didn't play as many minutes, I don't think, as I remember in the Olympics as some of the others. But she did play, and then she did play in Unrivaled as well. So there may be a case of that where maybe it's just tiredness, just trying to force the body to do what it can't do. I was thinking about how they could redo their rotations, because one of the bright spots that have been for them has been Aaliyah Nye, their rookie out of Alabama. She's been hitting some big shots and playing really well. So, plus they've added in, like I said, Nalissa Smith here in the last week. So I'm thinking maybe they change up the rotations a little bit. Maybe leave the same starting five. And I know there's plenty of Aces fans who would be happy to never see Kia Stokes in the starting lineup again. But we'll see. But for now, for this thought experiment, we're going to leave the starting five alone. So it's still going to be Chelsea, Jackie, Jewel, Asia, and Kia as your starting five. What then I would propose is on the second unit rotation, change up who's with who. So on second unit, we're going to call them second unit A. I would have Jackie run the point. I would have Aaliyah Nye as the two guard. I would pair them with Asia and Kia, just so that they've got a little more scoring punch to offset, because Aaliyah Nye being a rookie is going to be up and down, and then Kia's obviously got her own, is offensively challenged. Flip that then, and then on the 2B team, or if you can call them 2A, whatever, but you then have Chelsea and Jewel, and then pair them up with lists down low. That then will open up more scoring opportunities, I think, for Jewel and Chelsea. And maybe that jump starts them a little bit, just to get them kind of going, where they have to be kind of more the offensive focus of that second unit. We'll see. I don't know. It's a thought. Like I said, it's just a thought experiment. That'd be what I would do. Again, Becky's a way better coach than I am, but that'd be what I would suggest. Excuse me, going forward. At least experiment with it. I know Becky's set in her ways a little bit, but we'll see how it goes from there. And I almost forgot. I don't even have it in my notes. It was so long ago that it got announced. I guess maybe it was just last week. We've had a lot of stuff going on. The expansion teams. So 3 expansion teams were announced. They are going to be in Cleveland, Detroit, and Portland, I believe. The 3 expansion teams are going to be somewhere between now and 2030. So sometime in the next 5 years, we're going to add on 3 more expansion teams. They're still picking names. They're still doing all of that stuff. They're coming down the road, but that's what we are going to be looking at in terms of expansion there. So Toronto Tempo starts next year after the expansion of the Golden State Valkyries this year. Golden State's been playing so well, it almost feels like they've been there for a really long time. They're right in the thick of things as well. Let me take a quick look at that, because I want to know where Golden State is. As of today, Golden State is 9-7. They are 2 games over 500. They are currently in the 6th spot. In 6th spot. So they are firmly locked into a playoff spot at this point, which great for them. Also, they got over 8.5 wins, which means I cashed my bet I made on them earlier this season. So that's positive there. Just running through the standings real quick, just so you can see kind of what they look like. Minnesota Lynx are 15-2. Liberty is 12-5. Mercury is 12-6. Dream is 11-7, as is the Storm. Valkyries check in next at 6 at 9-7. Fever's 9-8 at 7th place. Aces are in 8th place at 8-9. Mystics are 8-10 after that hot start. Wings are 6-13 and playing much, much better. Who did they beat last night? I think they beat the Lynx last night, but playing much, much better. The 3 rookies last night were outstanding. So we'll see kind of how they're progressing and moving forward. Chicago Sky doesn't look like quite as much of a dumpster fire, but they're still in 11th place at 5-11. They've got a lot of work to do. We're going to see how all that shakes out. I can't remember if last time Courtney Vandersloot. I think the last time we were here was right after Courtney Vandersloot's injury. So they've made some changes there. Rachel Banham has moved in kind of that starting point guard role. I'm not convinced of that yet. Angel's been doing a lot of the kind of organization on the offensive side, kind of doing a bit of a do-it-all for them. 12th place is the Sparks, man. They just can't seem to get going. They got Ray Burrell back yesterday. Hopefully Cam Brink will be back soon. There's been a lot of talk about her. There's been a lot of smoke but no fire as of yet. But hopefully she's going to be coming back soon. They could really use her help. But adding on Van Loo really is going to help them as well. And then in the last place, in 13th place, is the Connecticut Sun. Checking in at 2-15, and man, they just don't look good. They are disorganized. I don't know. They're sad to watch. To me, they're a hard watch for me, and I don't know if I haven't seen them in a couple of games. Hopefully, maybe this little mini break here was enough for them to get organized. I'd like to see them play a little better, but they are just. It's not been a good season for them, and I got a feeling it's going to be that way for a little bit. So we'll see kind of how that all works out, but that's kind of where things stand right now. That's going to be everything that I had on the agenda for today. That will take us to the end of it. I'll be back here in a couple of weeks for the All-Star game, probably the Sunday after, because I think they go Thursday, Friday. But we will be after the All-Star break, we will check back in, kind of see where things are. Last year, that was when the big trade happened with Marina Mabrey. So we'll see kind of where things are shaking out with that in terms of where the league standing is here in a couple of weeks at essentially the halfway point. But want to thank everybody for checking in today. Want to thank all of the sponsors that we have here on the network. Again, we are part of the For Frequency Sake Podcast Network. Here. Nope. Okay. Didn't have any comments. Good. I'm still not used to the new system here. Also, please, if you wish, we do have a Discord server. You can search for that. That is going to be FFSQC. You can search for that. There is a dedicated channel for watching the W, and there is a dedicated WNBA channel forum in there where you can go in and discuss things as well. So always looking for more folks. With that, we're going to be opening up signups. Actually, I think the signups now are open for our Toys for Tots League, so make sure that you are jumping in on that. We always try and help out kids at Christmas, so that is a big deal for us. So make sure that you are signing up for those leagues. You can sign up to play against me specifically, or you can sign up to play against some other local celebrities, or just sign up and we can assign you to a random league as well. Last thing, we are starting up a new daily newsletter. We'll see how far that goes. Obviously, we did it one day and then we went on to a holiday break, but it is going to be the lunch something or other. I've already forgotten the name of it. The lunch line, that's what it's called. Spearheaded by Danny, who's my partner here on the show. Basically, just kind of news and notes, betting lines, those types of things. I may drop in from time to time with some type of rant about something that's going on in the sports world. But that's basically kind of what we've got going on here around the network. Make sure you subscribe to all of the great shows. The Football Lounge boys are still putting out stuff here in the off season. Last couple of weeks have been, I think, the best coaches and then the best teams. I'm sure then next up will be like best quarterback or best wide receiver or something here in the next week or so. The card's subject to change, guys. Just passed their 200th show, so that's always a big deal. Make sure that you check them out. They've got a great stuff going on over there as well. And then Joe and the gang over at Educated Ignorance have just got off of the NBA Finals with a compelling finals there. Hated to see Jason Tatum go down like that. That really did kind of shift things, I think, there in Game 7. But congratulations to the Thunder. All right. With all that said, I think that will do it. Again, thank you for watching. Thanks for everybody who tunes in, listens, downloads. And we will see you guys in a couple of weeks with the All-Star game. All right. Bye-bye.